Hi everyone, this is Ari Kopel with Shattering the Matrix. And again, by popular demand, we have Crystal Andasola. And for all of you who don't know her yet, you're in for a real treat. Crystal Andasola is a Seeress and a High Priestess working directly with the Elohim and beloved Master El Morya. She receives direct transmissions from El Morya and instructions to the people directly from the will of Divine Creator. She is a direct conduit to Mother Earth, as well as other high councils, including the Galactic Command, the Mayan Council, as well as the Ascended Masters. And she has been receiving transmissions directly from Sananda Jesus since she was 7 years old. Crystal's teachings are correlated and associated with that of the Arcturians, who work very closely with the Ascended Masters. As a Seeress, Crystal has the ability to foretell of future events. Crystal's assignment on the Earth plane is to assist humanity through the greatest transformation ever known in our human existence, especially by communicating love and light and anchoring divine truth on Earth while being of service to humanity. Her mission is to prepare the masses for the ascension and fifth-dimensional frequencies that we will be experiencing once we cross over the veil of density. And Crystal is also a natural-born crystallogist, master energy healer, and she's certified in medical Qigong. So, Crystal, thank you again for joining us. I am so honored to have you here, and wow, what a blessing, because so many people have responded so amazingly to the information that you've brought in, and but today you have like more in-depth information, especially about how to prepare our bodies and how to protect our bodies, because our body temple is so important in the whole process, isn't it?
Absolutely. And first of all, Ari, I want to give a great big giant greetings and good day to all my beloved friends out there and to you. And thank you so much for giving me an opportunity and a platform to deliver my messages. So yes, the response to my first show was absolutely off the Richter scale overwhelming, and I'm just so grateful for that. So that prompted me to, it really kind of fed my passion again, you know, that I need to just get out there and let all this wisdom come out. And so, you know, for those people that are vibrating from the same vibrational resonance or octave as I am, you know, I just want to really help the people as much as I can.
Absolutely. Well, that's the place in the timeline where we're at right now. You know, it really is to get everyone as closely as possible to be on the same page and to get vibrating to that highest vibration possible, so that we can, you know, transcend. And so you bring that wisdom and those tools, and I'm in total gratitude to you for stepping up, because I know it's really difficult for many people to step up and get on a platform like a radio show and own this like you do. So again, thank you. So we're going to be talking today a lot about different things that are happening on the planet that are being used to compromise our ability to get into that higher resonance, the higher frequencies, to be able to walk out of this reality. And one of them is chemtrails. That is like major in, I guess, everyone's mind today, because I mean, even I think the sleeping masses can see it. I don't know if they are aware of what it is, but those that are of the spiritual community know exactly what it is. But can you go in depth into the importance of why chemtrails is such a detriment to our ability to ascend and everything else that we know?
Yes, and you know, I know that there's a lot of stuff out there around the chemtrails, but the first thing that I want to say to the viewers and the listeners, this information that I will be providing, again, is for the people that are ready for this information. This information is not being provided for people to go into fear. So if you are a person that is fear-based, or you're, you know, still in that space in your intellect with, you know, doubt and all that, fear, whatever, then this won't be for you. But for those that have recognized and experienced and understand the chemtrails, here's what I have to say. The chemtrails are intentionally created and designed if you will, to prevent light from coming through, and particularly blocking out the pineal center, which is it's your individual ascension portal. So I know we're going to get into that a little bit more as we roll on, but so they kind of go after, and they're designed to compromise bloodlines. So they start studying the bloodlines, finding out, what are the vulnerabilities in the DNA in the bloodline, and then they go to their little, designing, manufacturing place, and they start making, these chemical compounds and start, spraying. This really is a chemical genocide. So it's, what goes in them is bacteria, and some of those bacteria, particularly some that are known to Morgellons, there's information that speaks about how it's actually bacteria from other worlds. So we do know, and those of us that are standing in our wisdom know about the reptilian takeover and the Greys, and I'm finding in my profession that more and more people are waking up to that. So the chemtrails are like synthetic crystals. They're nanotechnology, and what they do is they create a fiber optic network system within your body that compromises everything. Their main target is to create autoimmune diseases.
Okay.
Of multiple kinds. Mm-hmm. Another thing that the chemtrails are designed to do is to create cancers so that they're already at stage 4.
Wow.
I cannot tell you how many clients I have, and people that I know personally. It's actually, very close, near and dear to me, that have, for instance, I have an aunt on my husband's side of the family who went to the doctor for a sinus infection that she just could not get rid of. She's very healthy, has never smoked a day in her life, very, exercise oriented, healthy minded and all of that. Went to the doctor and stage 4 lung cancer diagnosed.
Jeez.
My landlord here just died 2 weeks ago, stage 4 lung cancer. So we're seeing all these cancers and autoimmune diseases and thyroid imbalances, and depending on the individual and your bloodline is going to depend on how the nanotechnology affects you. That's something very interesting that many people don't know about the chemtrails, is that they're working very diligently to try to create a compound chemical that will actually interfere in the ESP factor in Native Americans.
Interesting.
So you don't really hear of too many Native American people that have the effects of the chemtrails. So that's another thing that's very interesting.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting. So what is, and you did touch a little bit about Morgellons being perhaps bacteria that might be of an alien origin. What is it exactly? Because I believe that, we both share someone that we know personally that has that. And so what is it exactly? Is it something that creates wounds that constantly opening up, and there's fibers coming up? But what?
Yeah, there's fibers that come out of those wounds, and I'm telling you, I have seen with my own eyes, and I've also seen photos. There's bizarre things that come out of these fibers. Some people have had yarn. Some people have had threads of gold, weird shapes, corn stalk. It's just amazing how many different weird things come out of these Morgellons fibers. Now, when I talk about the out-of-world bacteria, coincidentally, I was watching a very intriguing show on the History Channel, that was talking about they're finding bacterias in asteroids. Remember a while back when the rain was red in, I believe it was Indonesia, India. And so those scientists gathered that rain, and they immediately started testing that rain, and they found that there were bacterias in their collections that have never, ever been seen or known in our existence.
Wow. And
so, you know, somehow they are attached to the asteroids or comets or excuse me, meteors that may hit this planet. So this is kind of a new thing that's being discovered, but I knew it again in my core to be true, which is why there's so much controversy around Morgellons. Some doctors don't even want to admit that it even exists. Then you've got other doctors that are working and scientists that are working diligently on you know, putting all the pieces together on the Morgellons, but I can assure you our lovely, lovely, lovely government does not want anybody to know, because it would be also a direct correlation with the chemtrails. And we all know that our government has gone into some sort of a treaty with the reptilians, so our government does have access to otherly world technologies and bacterias and, you know, such things of that matter.
That's true. Yep. Well, and they've also found, from what I understand, because there's been plenty of pictures of that in the Morgellons patients, even little insects and creatures and things like that. I don't know if they're organic or if they're nanotechnology or what it is. Maybe a combination of both. Do you know anything about that?
I think it's a combination of both. And again, Ari, I'm still, as is everybody, learning more and more about it. Myself, I can tell you that one of my clients that I have read for in the past is a scientist, and I will not disclose any other information than that, but has worked very close around the nanotechnology and the Morgellons. But yes, I actually saw a picture of something that had come out of a client, and it looked exactly, and I mean exactly, like a horse's head, a little miniature horse head. I mean, I've seen so many different photographs from people. I've seen yarn, gold thread, weird, you know.
Just stuff that doesn't belong there.
Right.
It's like, okay, this is not part of the way that my maker made me originally. So there's something interfering and imposing itself on people.
It really is. It really is an infringement. And, you know, more so than, you know, dissecting I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, or people out there that are working, and I do really want to encourage all the listeners, as after the show, people will be able to go onto your site, and I have lined out some links for people to go to. Awesome. But I want to give a really big shout out to Kristen Megan, and I want to tell her I love her and thank you. Now, this is the proof in the pudding, folks. All these people that think that the chemtrails are contrails and blah, 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 blah. Well, watch that 14-minute video of this beautiful, courageous being that's come out, and she actually caught and has captured in the air samples Morgellons. She worked for the United States
Air Force.
Air Force.
Yeah, Air Force.
So, nonetheless, you know, I'm not going to go into too much whatever. If you watch the 14-minute video, it's right there. Okay. So, for all the people that have wondered and not sure and blah, 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 there's the proof. So, we do know that it is an all-out genocide, chemical genocide on the human race.
Yes.
And my discernment is again, you know, we've talked about the lackadaisical, that whole free will thing kind of gets in the way.
Yep.
You know, everybody wants to form this and form that. No, our government would never, but I'm telling you folks, wake up.
Yep.
Because it happens every single day. They do their X's in the sky, which means X marks the spot. They fly around, and wherever there is light emanating, that's where they go out and do their all-out assaults. But their main thing is to block out the ray of the sun, because the Illuminati and the powers that think they be that are behind this are very, very well educated and very well knowing how important the energies of the sun are to our life force energy. And I want to remind everybody that without the sun, there is no life.
That is correct.
Period.
Yep.
I don't care if you're a human, a plant, there is no life. So they know that. So they go in and they start blocking out the sun so that we don't get the vitamin D's and the nutrients, not to mention the energetic properties that the sun provides for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you also notice, anytime there's a blue moon, a super moon, or when we had the black moon, they all night long, all out assaults, blocking the vibrations from the moon. Particularly, they are very well aware that there are light workers all around the world that do ceremonies on this particular solstices and such nature as that. So it's really meant to keep you from receiving and accessing the light of our sun and our moon and all of those benefits. So this is a really important thing that has to be talked about.
Yep.
And I'm sure there's so many listeners out there that I know either have Morgellons, also Lyme's disease is correlated and associated as well with.
I didn't know that.
Morgellons, yes, they have some sort of a connection together. So again, the reason this keeps happening is because people don't want to speak up. They don't want to say anything.
Well, they don't want to look at it. They don't want to look at it to begin with, yeah.
Well, and a lot of thing is here's another thing that I was really pondering after our first show, Ari, and I thought to myself, I find it so interesting that, conspiracy. People think this is a conspiracy, that's a conspiracy, blah, blah, blah. But I know from my own knowing and my ability as a Seeress and how I'm wired up, okay, this is not conspiracies. This is truth. Yeah. It's happening. And those powers that think they be, that are doing this, they absolutely revel in the fact that people are just so lackadaisical, so unplugged, so out of tune, so procrastinating, lazy, non-action, that they just spray us and all this, the flu shots.
Yep.
They've got their little nanotechnology and their little microchips and all of their crap in those flu shots too. I was talking to Savannah the other day and I said, it's funny because the government doesn't give anything for free.
Right.
Except for one thing. That flu shot, man. They really want to do that flu shot.
They're very generous, aren't they?
I call the death shot, but that's just me. But anyway.
Very interesting. You make a good point. I was also now just following up with what you were saying about how they constantly spraying us to prevent the the energies from the sun, from the moon. If you look at sacred places and sacred sites, there's a lot of chemtrailing there. I mean, I remember going to, for example, Mount Shasta, and all you could see is just one big chemtrail. It's just like one huge chemtrail. I mean, and they're just blocking in all those portals and things like that. I mean, this is like, that it's a deliberate attempt to prevent our ascension or our, transformation.
That was beautifully said. Yeah. Absolutely beautifully articulated. Yes.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about other things that you're aware of. For example, Candida. Because that's major, and a lot of people have that. And what is that?
Well, Candida is a bacteria that develops actually in the gut. And I want to let me back up because there's one thing I want to add to with the chemtrails.
Sure.
Because many people don't know that in that technology, weaved in the design of it, it's designed to go in and hook in the colon. It attaches itself or hooks into the colon. Now, your colon in your digestive tract, that's where all disease begins. It's also intentionally created to really not just block out your pineal center, but it's meant to try to destroy it. The pineal gland, that's our portal, that's our spiritual center. So that prevents people from their spiritual awakening. The hook that goes into the colon starts the dis-ease, which turns into many, many diseases. So go back to okay, now where was we? I just lost my point.
Well, we were with the Candida.
Oh, the Candida. Okay, so 60% of the cells in your body are in your digestive center, and your colon, your gut.
Yeah.
So the Candida, it's the bacteria from food. Now, again, there's a link that we have provided at the end of this show that people can go to in this. It's completely broke down into very comprehensible components, but basically it's a bacteria that goes in there, and it comes from refined sugar, okay? And there is sugar in everything. I don't care if it's spaghetti sauce or sugar in everything. So particularly in America, we have this sugar craze, sugar. You go to get even a vitamin water drink. Well, to stop and look at how many grams of sugar are in these drinks, even the so-called healthy drinks. So the sugar turns into bacteria, and then it just starts its own army, literally an army, in your gut, your digestive system, your colon, all of that, and it just starts taking over. But here's what's interesting about it is the bacteria is intelligence that it starts telling the body to crave sugar. So anytime, people just want to keep eating, they start craving sugar, more sugar, because the intelligence in that bacteria is telling you, give me sugar, I want sugar and I want it now, so people just keep eating sugar, and the more you eat, the more that bacteria takes off. So it is a very serious issue, particularly in the United States. I cannot tell you how many clients I have that have Candida issues. And so we see that a lot with the belly fat, the overweight, also the slugness. People stop. People are irritable. They just lack depleted energy.
Yeah, they stop vibrating, and that vibration, that high frequency, that high energy is gone. It's depleted.
Yeah, and what happens is people wake up and they're more exhausted than they were when they went to bed. So again, I really, really want to express to my listeners, please follow every bit of guidance that comes through this transmission and this radio show. So those links will be provided on your show, so they can go to them, and they're not real long, but it's more knowledge is power, and I really want people to be empowered, and want them to have the facts and correlate that with your own symptoms. We all have symptoms of all of this stuff that we're talking about.
Yeah, and a lot of us have the symptoms, and we don't know what they're, what to attribute them to. So,
so with that, Ari, I want to talk about the importance of the probiotics.
Yes.
Okay.
Good.
And please, everybody, hear me crystal clear and clear as crystal. It is imperative. I don't care if you are somebody that exercises every day and all you eat is organic food and yada, 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 or you're the person that doesn't do that. It is imperative for every person to get on a very good probiotic.
Yep.
Very good probiotic. It is imperative because the probiotic is what puts the healthy bacteria in there that then forms its own army, and then it goes after and it starts attacking the Candida army. Okay, and what people will find, and it's really true because I've been on probiotics for quite a while myself, but you will find that your energy will start to come back and be, rejuvenated in multiple ways. There's so many ways and benefits from taking probiotics, and it is really super duper important.
Yep, I totally agree. I take one which was highly recommended to me I think it's called Green Vibrance, and it's got millions of them in there. It's like a powder with all the greens, so if you don't have the time to eat the vegetables and the greens and stuff like that, it's a powder. You can put it in your favorite drink, like I put it into orange juice or a shake or something like that. It's amazing. I take it once a day, and it just totally gives me the amount of probiotics my body needs. And you can get that anywhere. I get mine at Amazon.com, but you can get that anywhere. So do you have anyone specifically that you recommend, or?
Well, after also watching the video that I've also provided on the Candida, I went ahead and ordered the Keybiotics from there, but I'm very interested in yours, so maybe after the show you can forward that to me and let's get that out too, because also the dark greens, the vitamins and nutritions that are also in your dark greens are very, very important.
Yes.
So, but I've been on a different kind of probiotics, but I want to get the very best of the best.
Sure.
So I'm still kind of, playing around with that myself.
Trying to find out which one is the better one, huh?
Yes, and it was kind of ironic that video, which is also talks about the Keybiotics, had just fallen in my lap because I had gone through all of this stuff about a year ago. So more confirmation, folks, and we need that validation and we need that confirmation.
Yeah, absolutely.
To encourage us to keep moving forward.
Yes. I wanted to point out something, Crystal, which is something that I don't know if the light community has figured it out yet. I figured it out many years ago because I started going into learning how to grow within greenhouses, so I went into a very extensive course for aquaponics, learning how to grow food 24/7, 365 days a year, and I did that because I was very cognizant that a lot of people have the misunderstanding that because something is labeled organic, that it is good for you. Do you agree with that statement, and if you do, why?
Not in these days, and I'll tell you why. Monsanto just bought Whole Foods, folks.
Yep.
So figure that. Connect those two dots, right?
Yeah.
A little contradiction there. But I will tell you, and this was given to me from the council, with the chemtrails and also what they're doing with the fluoride and how they are putting, lithium and fluoride and all this crap in our water and they spray and spray and spray and spray. Well, let's put on our common sense hats.
Exactly. Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
If those are spraying worldwide, and they're everywhere, those chemicals are falling on everything, including your organic soils, including everything. So
your water.
Water. It's in everywhere. It's in the soil. It's in the water. It's in with soil and water. You can't grow anything. So they have made very, very sure that any of us that think that we might want to escape their chemical warfare over us and think that we're going to be able to access organic food, they've already taken that option away from us. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't mean that they win. It means we just have to be more creative,
exactly.
Which is why I very much so emphasized, I think I did, if I didn't, I'll say it again, about the blessing.
No, you haven't done it yet.
Oh, well, putting an intentional blessing on your food.
Mm-hmm.
Ari, I will share something with you. I have struggled with some sort of a very rare digestive disorder that landed me in the Mayo Hospital.
Wow.
Back in 2009, and also I was in the Mercy Hospital here with 7 doctors standing around me, and my belly swelled to the point where I looked 9 months pregnant.
Wow.
That is no exaggeration, and the pain that came along with that was unbearable. I could not keep anything down. I couldn't eat. It was just horrendous. So, of course, they thought, oh, celiac. So, you know, started blood work on celiac disease and so on and so forth. And I tested negative for celiac disease.
Wow.
But they did see that there is celiac artery compression, meaning my celiac artery is compressed slightly. But nonetheless, tens of thousands. I mean, my hospital bill alone was $58,000.
Wow.
Mercy here, and then another $20,000 at Mayo. Okay, only to get nowhere. All they did was give me cortisone shots, which brought on a whole other set of issues.
Sure.
Okay, and so finally, it's like, you know what? I had to get serious with my health, Ari, and I had to start looking at what I didn't want to look at, changing eating habits, and taking the time. And it merely was through blessing my food. I kept hearing, you know,
yep.
Bless your food, bless your food. And then when I would sit at council, they'd say, Seeress, bless your food, and explain the importance of it. And then I would forget, you know, just getting in the hurry, worry, scurry aspects of the day. But nonetheless, I do not forget at all now. And I've pretty much healed and cured my own digestive disorder through the protocol in which I'm giving you guys, including the blessing my food. And I'm telling you, my health is night and day different.
Isn't that amazing? It's amazing. Well, I mean, it's the power of intention too, and visualization. You know, what is that that famous man, the one with the water? What is
Emoto.
Emoto? Yes. Thank you. You know that even just the word love on a glass of water changes the molecules of that water to you know they're vibrant, they're beautiful, they're put together in sacred geometry form. So and when you put something negative, like a word that's negative, it would obviously corrupt those molecules. So just the intention of being even in that attitude of gratitude for the food that you have will transform that food. So
you are absolutely correct. Oh, Goddess, thank you for saying that, Ari. And you know, that's on my list I wanted to talk about. Speaking of Emoto, that's very true. And for those of you that don't know of him, which I'm sure everybody does, he wrote the book Messages in Water. Mm-hmm. And so if you look at the samples that he took, like he took a sample out of the Fuji River that was not blessed, and then a sample that he blessed. Well, anything that he didn't bless looked literally like a cancer.
Wow.
Okay? And again, like you said, anything that was blessed looks like a beautiful crystal. Some of them look like mandalas. They're absolutely exquisite. And the good news is that I am in the process of contacting Mr. Emoto and getting my water, having to take a picture of my water. So I do want to say the water is so important, and believe me, infinite creator, and I promise you, my heart and my soul, infinite creator is absolutely in my water. Creator put their own intention, and the love of the divine of all that is of one is infused into the crystal ascension water, among with all kinds of yummy things. So I can't wait to see what my water is going to look like when it gets photographed by Emoto. I'm just working on the financial process to afford that for Crystal Ascension.
Sure.
So yay.
Yay and a half, yeah.
Crystal Ascension water is the same as drinking a glass of liquid light and love. Very
cool. So talk to the audience a little bit, because now that you mentioned that, you opened up that little Pandora's box about that. What is in the crystal ascension water. Why is that important, and what kind of benefits can people get from that?
Oh, wonderful question. Well, I will not disclose the vibration, meaning I won't tell anybody what crystals I use, as I can't proprietary information.
Correct.
But I do use one of the most powerful crystals literally on the face of the earth is one of the ingredients, and they're only found in one place in the entire planet.
Wow.
There's another crystal ingredient in there, and again, we keep that top secret for obvious reasons.
Right.
But nonetheless, I never had meaning the water was never my desire, or I was never the one that was like, oh my God, I'm going to make water.
Right.
I've always been into crystals, obviously, and metaphysics and the healing properties of minerals and stones and crystals and so forth, but I was commanded. I wasn't even requested. It was a command from Infinite Creator to make this water, and I have to tell you, I was kind of intimidated, I guess, and was like, oh boy, okay. So I, wrote down. They gave me the recipe, told me exactly what to do, how to do it, where to go, what the program frequencies would be. They gave me the whole recipe. It was no difference than, when your grandma passes down a wonderful apple pie recipe.
Sure.
Well, they passed down their wonderful liquid light recipe and entrusted me in creating that. And right down to the label, every single thing, including the words on the bottle, the hydrate, then vibrate.
Wow.
That came from the high councils, the dove. Everything correlated and associated with the Crystal Ascension water and the Crystal Ascension herbs is straight from the highest of councils. As a matter of fact, it's from the Crystal Collective Council, which is a council most people are not aware of. Mm-hmm. But I will tell you that it is created to cleanse out the accumulated density in your chakras, your meridians, in your energetic centers, as well as prepare those centers for the new vibration codes, the ascension, and all the work that the high councils and only those councils can do. So the water is very complementary, and it helps to prepare the physical vehicle so that when the councils come in to start, working on the DNA and activating the higher strands of DNA, which only the high councils can do that. All right? So what we're doing here on the Crystal Ascension is essentially preparing the physical body for the DNA work and activation that the high councils will do. And that all depends on your vibration, where your rites of passage is, and how they handle that. We handle getting the physical body ready, because the energies and the vibrations that are coming in are so high vibrational that if we don't start getting the physical body ready, then we could get compromised.
Sure.
Now, in Crystal Ascension herbs, the process in how they're created is very similar. And again, a lot of it's proprietary information, but I can assure you that the hand of Infinite Creator is also infused in those. Those are designed to address the organs and to help to cleanse the organs, while at the same time the herbs that are used to each individual formula is exactly what Mother Nature intended. So it's mainly the Crystal Ascension herbs are created and designed to feed your organs the nutrition that they need, that they don't get. I teach people, when you go and you eat dinner and you eat I don't care if you're eating a salad or a hamburger or whatever, you are not feeding your body, folks.
Right.
You're not. You're feeding your belly, but you are not feeding your body. And here's what's happening is that Monsanto, all of them have done everything to deplete the nutrition of everything that we eat and drink, and then they hit us with the chemtrails, that also robs us of anything that we may think that we have, and the body starts shriveling, dying, breaking down, so on and so forth, dis-ease.
Yep.
So we need to be very diligent in making sure that we are mindful and aware of the nutritions that these organs need, because now not only that, but your organs are working overtime.
Yep.
Okay, trying to filter out what these evil forces are doing.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So
yep.
now it's, and not to mention your emotions, all the other things that your organs have to do to work to keep us here, especially the kidney and the liver, So they're trying to process and filter out the chemtrails and all the toxicities that they're hitting us with, and then we go and eat, and there's no nutrition and no vitamins in those because they've compromised that too. So really our only saving grace is to be able to, do the work and provide our food, our bodies with the nutrients that Spirit and Mother Earth and Infinite Creator intended in the beginning. So all of our things are supplemental and created to address that.
Yeah, and then that's where also we need to kick it in with, of course, blessing, to add that additional protection and additional raising of the vibration of those things that we eat, because obviously there's going to be a point in time where we're not going to have enough nutrition out there available that is not compromised. So we really need to do our work. We need to do the work, which is blessing and shielding and all those things. Yeah.
Well, and I'll tell you something, Ari, and as odd as it may sound, I intuitively, well, hold on, let me back up. Every time I would eat, my belly it was like torture.
Sure.
I mean torture. Anybody that's close and personal that knows me, I have many, many people that were really praying for me to come through this. And I'm telling you, there were times where I knew my life force energy was severely compromised. And at one point, I didn't know if I was going to have the strength to stay on the earth plane.
Wow.
To finish my mission here, or if it would just be easier to go to the other side and try to finish it from the other side. God, I hope I don't cry. It was a very... it was torment.
Yeah.
Eating anything. I don't care how healthy it was. I don't care if it was even a protein shake, anything. It was torturous. So finally, I was brought to my knees to the point, Ari, where I started blessing my food. And I mean blessing it from, Infinite Creator, the Great Central Sun, please. And here's how I say it. I, do my hand around the food after I've centered myself. And I say, I call upon the great Divine Infinite Creator, and I ask that you will please raise the vibration of this food to its highest nutritional potential.
Wow.
And I say that 3 times, and then I give thanks with a pure heart and huge gratitude for the universe and for providing that food. And I also want to talk to the meat eaters for a second, okay? So while I know that there are many, many vegetarians out there, and I'm not here to bash meat eaters, but I will tell you that when you eat meat, you are eating all of the chemicals that those cows and those animals are eating, okay? And here's the most important thing. When those animals are slaughtered and killed, you're eating that fear, And I don't know if anybody's ever been to a slaughterhouse or experienced that, but I can tell you I was raised on a quarter horse ranch. And I just want to say that it's a very grotesque process, and these animals do scream, and they, and I don't want to. I know that animals have spirits.
Yep.
I don't care what anybody says. So, I don't even want to argue about that or anything. That is absolutely true. So you're eating now that fear and that experience of the death of that animal, not to mention all of the growth hormones. That's why, we've got 8-year-olds now that are developing breasts.
Yep.
We have 8, 9, and 10-year-old girls that are starting their periods at a very, very young age and developing hormonally. You've got women that are developing facial hairs. Mm-hmm. We've got all of this hormonal imbalance now as well, due to what, growth hormones, the process of raising cattle, and so on and so forth. So we've got that to contend with. So my suggestion for those that are eating things with a face on it, to please thank that animal for the sacrifice of its life force energy so that you may sustain yours.
Right. That's a very good point. And a lot of people don't really probably take the time to really think about where that steak comes from and what the process was. I don't think there's anything as well, unless these animals are dying by injection. They're really not, and the way they die is just so horrific that how can you not feel pain if you're a living being. You're eating that fear, you're eating that angst, that anguish, all of that, and that's going into your cells. That's what you're becoming. Yeah. You are what you eat. Exactly. You are what you think. You are what you are. Yep. Good point. Let's move on to something interesting I wanted to discuss with you because Fukushima is not going away right now. There's a lot of supposedly millions and millions and who knows how many more of gallons of water that are supposedly radiated, all right, that have gone into the ocean, all right, and it's contaminating the Pacific Ocean and all life in there. And so therefore, and it's heading towards, the coast, the west coast, if it hasn't hit there already, which apparently it has, where supposedly anything that's grown in those coasts are, compromised as well. What is your antidote to that, if there is one, to radiation?
Again, the only antidote that I know, and I'm not even, of course, we're not allowed to say cure and whatever, mm-hmm. but all I can say is we do have a radiation formula that has what Mother Nature intended for the exposure of radiation. So what I can tell the listeners is I promise you, my heart and my soul, that the information that is out there around the radiation is distorted and fraudulent. This was way, way more damaging and catastrophic than what they will ever admit to. Yeah. And I also want the listeners to know that we just had a radiation leak of some sort in Carlsbad, New Mexico. Mm-hmm. That they are very, very worried about. And ironically, oh my goodness, listen to this. So the nuclear radiation detectors were just conveniently not working at the exact precise moment that they needed to be detecting the amount of radiation that slipped out. Yeah. And oh my God, 48 hours later, we have these incredible, conveniently harped winds. Yeah. Like, I've been in Durango 25 years. We don't necessarily get, 70-mile-an-hour winds over here. Wow. It was unbelievable. My husband's boss, the winds were so bad, it blew down a great big giant cotton tree. Wow. And fell down onto his tractor. So that's the degree of winds. Now, here's the thing. It was one day of just borderline hurricane type winds right after the radiation leak in Carlsbad, and then, the thing doesn't work to detect the amount of radiation in the atmosphere. I mean, come on. That's how freaking ignorant they think that we are, that we're just gonna, we believe you.
Yeah. Well, we're not ignorant, those that are, of course, aware now. But the majority of us still are buying into all the lies and the facade and the staging events and all that. So, yeah, they are getting away with a lot of it, unfortunately. So, good. So that you do have something that people can take that will help them very much.
Absolutely. And, I want to talk about, the water, herbs, and oxygen. That's what Mother Nature intended. That's what our vibration, our energy needs in order to sustain life force energy. I can tell you that the Opaline Solutions Dry Oxy and the Opaline Solutions Detox Bath is the most wonderful thing on planet Earth, along with the Crystal Ascension products. And I really mean this with my whole heart. The Morgellons, and we have a mutual friend that has Morgellons. The Morgellons patients, bless their heart, they have to be on the oxygen for the rest of their life. It's the only thing so far known to mankind that will actually keep it at bay. Of course, it doesn't cure it. Morgellons also is designed to replicate itself, as is so much of the nanotechnology.
Wow. So
you get the first round of bacteria, so it compromises your immune system really good, and then there's always a designed hook in there to come at you with a secondary infection, virus, bacteria, or both, or whatever. And then next thing you know, you go to the doctor and your diagnosis is cancer or some horrible thing. So I can tell you that the oxygen is truly a miracle product. And I swear by it. I love it. I've been on it for years and years myself. I take 3 detox baths minimum a week just for good measure.
Wow.
And of course the herbs and the crystal water. So these are things that, as I said in my last show, Ari, nothing's going to stop Infinite Creator from this ascension, and nothing's going to stop Mother Earth from ascending. So they can do all their shenanigans, and those of us that are awake and those of you that want to wake up, there is antidotes. There are, products out there that can help, and I've provided a wonderful information links for people to get information that talk about, and I also want to talk about magnesium and the lack of that.
Yes.
So another thing, again, we've got, what are some of the lack of magnesium? I want to talk about, hold on a second, Ari. I want to talk about the depletion of magnesium in the body.
Yes.
Okay. Again, all of these genocides, these chemical things, are designed to rob you of very essential nutrients for the body. Your vitamin D's, your magnesium. So magnesium. I'm Savannah looking something up for me here. Yeah, the 16 symptoms, and we've posted this on your website.
Good.
But I want to talk about these are just 16 signs of magnesium deficiency. Are calcium deficiency, poor heart health, weakness, nausea, high blood pressure, type 2, diabetes, respiratory issues, dizziness, fatigue, potassium deficiency, difficulties swallowing, poor memory, confusion. Now that's just 16 that go along with the deficiency of magnesium, and then you incorporate into that your symptoms from what that happened when you were depleted from your vitamin D.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so that's a whole nother list of stuff. And then you've got the vitamin K's, which is a very, very essential vitamin, particularly for women. And you can pretty much, it's found, there's spinach is a very good source of vitamin K. But you know, these things are very, very important to our body, our mind, our spirit, our mental, emotional, everything. And our government just banks on the fact that people don't care, and they're just going to keep their faces buried in Facebook and Twittering and gadgeting that you're not, you know, they're just silently killing you and you don't even know it.
Yep. So what people need to do is be able to get supplements with, you know, in other words, supplement their diet with magnesium, with vitamin D, right, vitamin K, and, you know, get all the herbs that you know, that you're recommending too, because those are important, especially, what is it, you call it the Ascension herbs?
Yeah, they're Crystal Ascension.
Crystal Ascension.
That's my name for my product line. So we have Crystal Ascension herbs and Crystal Ascension water.
Right.
And those, I want to tell everybody, that not all of our formulas on the herbal tinctures are listed on the website. Susan Page, God love her, she's my beautiful, beautiful, magnificent master herbalist who was actually born on the day of herbs, and boy is herbs her calling in life and her contract for sure. And I can tell you that she was in the process of making all of these recipes as we were building the website. So I do want to encourage people to go onto the website, look at the tinctures. Now we have thyroid. We have a thyroid formula that's not on there, an arthritis formula that's not on there, a Lyme's disease isn't on there, and our pineal.
Wow.
We have a phenomenal pineal.
Wow.
Phenomenal. I mean, it is unbelievable, the pineal tincture. Especially, man, when you take the Crystal Ascension herbs with the water, well, they're created to work synergetically. That's exactly what you're getting. Synergy.
Wow. That's just awesome. I mean, awesome. I am so on board with what you're saying, and of course I'm going to be a customer of you as well, because I got to get some of those herbs, man. I'm serious. For sure, especially the pineal one and the thyroid one. I mean, all of them. They're just so important.
I really want to say, Ari, not that I ever want to take away from anybody's work or anything like that, but I can assure you, when I was going through initially this mystery of my digestive disorder, I spent thousands of dollars in your vitamin colleges and your Whole Foods and your whatever's, getting liver stuff, kidney stuff, whatever I could, gravitate to, other tinctures and other herbal things to try to help me, and they didn't work. It's like I'd get a relief for about a minute, but I was still struggling severely until Susan came into my life, and I can tell you that her formulas are her passion. And I think the passion and the intention and the integrity, which are in all of our products, Opaline, all of ours, this is our mission. This is not about let's go slap something in a bottle and put it out there. I want these listeners to know that this is our heart and our soul, our passion, really, and our love for humanity, to help them to become well.
Yes.
It means everything to us.
Totally. So by a person tackling this situation in their bodies, okay, because a lot of us obviously are compromised. I don't know anyone on this planet at this point, unless you're living in a cave, that is not being compromised, because you're outdoors. You've got to go outdoors at some point. You're being bombarded by the chemtrails. You're being bombarded by all kinds of frequencies. You're being bombarded by the water having the fluoride and all the chemicals, including chlorine in there, and what else they put in there, because they also even put, from what I understand, pharmaceutical stuff in there. Yep. So you're getting compromised by all sorts of things. Yep. You know, I mean, a person who wants to get a crystalline type body, their light body, their crystalline body, yes. Right? Part of it is getting their body temple in alignment. Yeah.
And not just in alignment, sweetie, it's got to be cleaned up.
Cleaned up,
thank you for pointing that out. I mean, there are so many different attacks on the human race right now that I can't even tell you. And yes, and I have to incorporate something here that my most beautiful spirit mom, Rebecca, I won't give her last name because I don't know who, that's okay, but she is wonderful and has taught me. She's been my mentor, and she is the artist of the medicine shield jewelry that we also sell and get out there, and that are so powerful. But she taught me something many, many moons ago, Ari, and she said, Crystal, anything that's out of balance can be put back into balance through nature. You know, everything that we need to balance and center ourselves and heal is here for us.
Yep.
You know, we just have to get off our butts and apply it.
True.
You know?
Yep.
That is the biggest thing, is get off your butt and do it. Don't like, oh, I'm going to do that. No, you know, we always say, oh, I'm gonna. And a lot of times I'm going to never happen. So,
right.
You know, I know in my heart, and I know from counsel, that, you know, there are things out there, and information is knowledge, and
empowerment.
And knowledge is power, and Spirit says, don't stop at knowledge, my beloved children. Take one step further into wisdom. And I have something they're asking me to to actually talk about just for a brief minute here, going back to the chemtrails. This is very important because I know what the masses are thinking. Well, I'm just one person. I can't do anything about it, you know. Listen, folks, I have raised a stink in the Durango Herald multiple times over the chemtrails. And every time I write in the opinions part of the paper, they stop. Okay? Anytime, as a matter of fact, after I talked about them on my first show, we had 3 solid days with no chemtrails. And ironically, this was so coincidental, which is God's way of remaining anonymous, folks. Anyways, I couldn't believe it. I had gotten an email that was forwarded to me from another client who actually, they had written, I don't know if it was their local government or whatever about the chemtrails, but had also noticed that just by writing about them, they had stopped. So I don't care if it's your city council people. I don't care if it's your local newspaper people. I don't care if you get really, really tenacious and get out there and start writing your senators and your governors, because they're the ones that are allowing these drone planes to come into our airspace. And you want to talk about the terrorists, they're the freaking terrorists.
Yeah.
Understand? And so, again, they monitor. Okay, how many people are really, flared up about this, and what are they doing about it? Oh, so, somebody does something and then they back off, and then they don't, we're not tenacious about it. We don't just stay on them. And here's the great thing about this platform. All of these beautiful, beautiful, enlightened, yummy people all around the world that are hearing this show, take 5 minutes, do something.
Yep.
Write the government, write the senators, write your newspaper, and imagine, once we all collectively start doing this, eventually, hopefully it's got to stop, or we got to let them know that we're not just going to lay down and take their shit.
Exactly. Well, I mean, if we were to all commit like you said, even if it were just 5 minutes. Holy cow, if it was 10 minutes, it was 15 minutes, all right? Just like we get up in the morning, brush our teeth, we could do it at night, maybe some people do it in between, between meals, whatever. But it has to become a habit where it's important enough for all of us, for us individually and collectively, to address something. We address our teeth, right? When we brush our teeth, we don't want our teeth to go, to decay. We want to have healthy gums. We take care of the teeth. We got to be able to take care of this. And this is, our world. This is the world we live in, the only one that we're on at this moment in the flesh. So, along with all the sentient beings that are on it that are also suffering as a consequence. So, if it doesn't take someone with a high consciousness like we have, who else is going to do it? So,
well, you're exactly right. And you know what? I'm sick and tired. And, last time I looked, we lived in the United States of America. Where are our constitutional rights? It was we the people, yada, yada, yada. Well, guess what, folks? It's we the people, my ass right now. Okay?
Right, yeah.
And I've had enough of it. I mean, I do my fair share of going out there and, doing everything I can to raise my own, stink myself. But we need more masses of people doing this. They do not, it's absolutely grotesque to me that they think that they have the right. And same thing with these shots, now many people don't know, they put microchips in them. They've got nanotechnology in them that will, control your brain, shut down your portals, all kinds of stuff, Ari. And, I lost my train of thought.
Well, and chemicals too. I mean, they put stuff in there that doesn't belong in you, like mercury and
exactly.
Yep.
Well, and let me tell you this, many people don't know this, but there's only one country and one country only on the face of the planet that doesn't get chemtrailed. Guess what country that is?
Which one?
China.
Really?
Nope.
Interesting.
Nope. Yeah, isn't that interesting? So, yeah, it's the only country that I know that does not get chemtrailed. And, that's a whole nother show. I know why, but I'm going to be a little careful here. But anyways, yeah, so it's an all-out, it really is a genocide. It's a chemical genocide amongst the people. It's part of Operation Population Majority Control and New World Order and all of their, tactics that they are throwing at us. And you know what? I'm not going to lay down and die for these creeps.
Yeah. Well,
and if I do have to die, I'm going to die in freedom,
Yeah, kicking
my
the fight.
Integrity and my heart and my soul intact and all of these things. So there are information out there, and again, I cannot thank Kristen Megan, our beautiful goddess who served 10 years in the United States Air Force and who caught them red-handed. Mm-hmm. And again, that information is there for your viewers to access, and I highly, highly recommend that you do, because it is the catalyst. All the people that don't want to look at this, you need to look at it because it's your awakening, folks. That's how you're going to determine the degree of where you need to step it up in taking charge of your life from what they're doing, from what they're doing. It's like we have to counteract this. Yes. Somehow, some way, and not just, stay in a state of ignorant bliss.
Correct. Well, I mean, again, we're at that point where the negative side, the dark side, the other side of the polarity, right? They're doing kicking and screaming. They're doing everything possible. It's stepping up their game, right? To make it more difficult, make it denser, that type of thing. And ultimately, it is now our choice, right? It is a choice now. So this is really the separation from the wheat from the chaff, okay? Where you have to clearly make a choice as to whether you're going to buy into the BS, whether you're going to look the other way, allow things to progress. Obviously, it's negative. Obviously, it's not the ideal world that we want to live in. It's not the way it was originally intended. And but we personally have to step up our game as well, and that is a choice. And based on our choices is really how, you know, where we're going to fall eventually in reference to our residents, right? So.
Yeah. And you know what, I want to say one other little helpful thing. Remember, folks, that we also have the choice to be able to look at those chemtrails and turn them into love and light trails. I mean, that may seem a little airy-fairy, but let's go back to the power of intention.
That's
here.
right. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We have the ability to change anything.
Yep.
Okay? Really, our potential is not as limited as the powers that think they would like you to believe.
That is correct.
Your personal truth is that we are very powerful beings, and the love that Infinite Creator has for us and our Divine Mother is profound. So we need to turn to the guidance of our Divine Father and our Divine Mother to help navigate us out of this catastrophic experience, and they will. So, I really do believe in the power of intention. And think about it. If every single person that hears this radio show, the next time they experience a chemtrail, turns around and transmutes it with Saint Germain's purple violet flame, for instance, would be good.
Yes.
Or whatever your mantra is, and we all start doing that, then we got this, folks.
Yep, I agree.
And it is a war. I'm sorry. I don't care what anybody says. There's a lot of information out there that, everything's good now, and all the bad ETs have been taken off the planet, and all the portals have been closed. Well, that's bullshit. Okay? I'm going to call it as I see it. It's bullshit, folks, and don't buy into that. Okay? They just want you to lay down your shield and lay down your
guard. Your guard. Yeah.
That's what we do. Everybody wants to get comfortable, because when you're comfortable, you stop growing. But I'm telling you, we're almost there, but not quite, folks. There's still a whole lot of stuff going on over there in Dulce, New Mexico. I've yet to see that underground facility closed up.
Right? Yeah, and it's not going to be closed up anytime soon, as far as I know.
Right.
Yeah. So, wow. And here's, I swear I have such a smile on my face, because listening to you is like I'm listening to myself. It's like a clone, man. It's like I am so, enjoy right now listening to someone that is so connected, and I know how connected you are, my beloved Crystal. You're extremely connected to the higher councils, and I know that for a fact. And to hear someone with that kind of connection talk it, you're so no nonsense. You're so to the point, and this is what I'm accustomed to, because this is where when I address our beloved masters and our beloved beings of light that work and serve the Prime Creator, our Infinite Creator, that's the way they speak. These beings do not sugarcoat anything, and it is a war. We're very much aware of what's going on. Our jobs right now is really to help bring more awareness to those that decided to be volunteers here on this planet right now, to bring in the light and to help turn things around. And many of us have, unfortunately, been a little bit too complacent, I think. I think that the dark side has really done a very amazing job, and I applaud the other side immensely, because they really know their shit. Okay, they do it perfectly, and we have been so duped by them, thinking that it's really that we're serving the light, and when indeed they've sold us an amazing marketing campaign to keep us duped. So the fact that you're on air right now talking to the listeners, it's another voice out there stating the truth. This is the truth, folks. It's the good, the bad, and the ugly. There's beautiful things, but there's also ugly things that we need to help clean up And we really need to step up. It really is the time for stepping up.
Ari, you used the perfect word, complacent, and they bank on that. They know,
yes.
You know, they are so depending on the complacency, particularly of the American people, you know, and all the distractions. I mean, they create the problem, and then they create what they perceive to be the solution. You know, it's like the bummer care. Okay,
right.
That's a whole nother. Let's lead everybody to the slaughterhouse.
Correct.
I mean, people have no idea that you know, that whole law going through, that took away so many of our rights. We just don't know it yet. But you watch, folks. I promise you, it's coming to where now they're going to be able to come and force you to take their little flu shot. Okay, and if you don't, you'll be facing the National Guard at your front door, and then they're going to take you off over to their little FEMA camp. And don't forget, there are 72 residential FEMA camps in the United States alone, folks. Do your research. It's out there. I promise you. Now, why do you think they need 72? For what? Right. You know, all of their body bags that they've ordered. I mean, come on. This is not... I'm so sick of I just want to say fucking conspiracy shit, you know? That it's not. This is really happening. And if we don't look at it, you can't change it. You can't defend yourself from it. Do you understand that? It's like stand up and frickin' fight, people.
Sure.
You know, fight for your right to eat healthy food, to drink healthy water, to be healthy without somebody spraying and genociding. I mean, you can see by my passion, it really gets me, because there is so much complacency out there, and that's what they love. That's what they bank on. That's how they get away with it, because they know that people are just going to either lay down and take it or walk away. And they're playing on that. All these beautiful light earth angels that are going, let's just keep rolling down Lollipop Lane, you know, and let's just keep looking at the love and light. Yeah, look at the love and light. Don't stop doing that. Keep doing that, folks. But you know what? When you cannot change what you're unwilling to acknowledge.
That's right.
In your outer world, your inner world, anywhere. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And if you don't look at it,
you
can't dissect it, you can't counteract it, you can't balance it, you can't heal it, you can't even love it, you know? I send them so much love and light, I hope they choke on it.
Right. Yeah, well, that's part of our growth too, no? To be able to address that ugly part in ourselves, to be able to look at it courageously, objectively, and call it what it is, to be able to look at that the ugliness in the world and call it what it is, and you know, that is part of our mastery. And if we're not doing that, then you know, again, we're at the lukewarm stage, aren't we?
Oh, God help the lukewarmers. And I'm telling you, Ari, you know, I am in a profession that I see it. I see these sick people. I've seen those fibers coming out of people's bodies. I've seen it with my own two eyes. I can't tell you the healings that I've had to do from what the dark hats have been doing. It has affected every family in America. I can guarantee you that. And I'll tell you, it's really near and dear to my heart, because my husband's laborer, Dustin, several years ago, 26-year-old boy, raised on a farm, you know, buck healthy, never did drugs, never drank, unbelievable kid, and those chemtrails got him, and I'm telling you, he's dead. He died at 26 years old from a respiratory infection, because that's where they go after also, your respiratory stuff. You know, again, oxygen, herbs, water, blessings, you know, and also praying, the power of prayer. I don't care what anybody says, you know, I am a person that I put on my hat of hope and my shield of faith, Ari, every day, because that's what Sananda taught me from the time I was a little girl.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm telling you that the power of intention and the power of prayer is amazing. Miracles can happen.
Yep.
And we can receive these miracles. We got to get off our butts and do something about it.
Totally agree with that. Wow. Very powerful. And also, just as a friendly reminder, too, that the oxygen, doesn't that help prevent cancers and things like that when you have the oxygen in your body?
Yes, it does. It helps prevent pretty much
a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing. I have something else that I want to talk about. I want to make sure the viewers get this before our time is up.
Sure.
All of you people that your little radars are going off and you're resonating to what I'm saying, I want you to understand that it is imperative to get in and clean up your intestines. Okay? I'm really not kidding, folks. And what you can do is use psyllium. Psyllium seed is a powerhouse for cleaning up your intestines, okay? It's a phenomenal intestinal cleanse. It's spelled Psyllium seed. And it's an intestinal cleanse. I also, now unbeknownst to the person, I'm hearing from Spirit that I need to also have people, Albert, who is the very first person that contacted me from my first show. So I'm giving a shout out to Albert out there, and he has a spiritdetox.com where he uses the clays. And so that's another thing for people whose body really resonates to clays,
right,
for intestinal cleanse. But it is imperative before you start getting into regimens that are going to support the organ functions and the energetic functions. It is important to do the cleanup work first, you see. So we do have an intestinal formula, but in that particular formula, it is more designed to support the intestines after they have had a major cleansing. So again, and I'm going to keep saying it, I'm really not kidding, folks. That nanotechnology is designed to affect your colon. It hooks onto your colon, and it starts from there. So if you can get in there and clean up your colon and clean up your intestines and all the other things that go along with that, then get on the Crystal Ascension herbs to give them the nutrients, the plant life that they need to sustain life force energy. Okay? It doesn't take a rocket scientist. It just takes people to be committed to the protocol and the process.
And then let's not forget the probiotics either, right?
Oh, absolutely. That's a given. Those probiotics, I'm telling you, it's like when you go to try to start an old truck and it's like,
yeah.
That's what's happening to people. It's like, ooh, these are all the things. And they're just banking. The powers that think they be, they're just banking on the fact that people will get so complacent they ain't going to do anything about it, but we are going to do something about it.
Yep. Totally.
And it's free will. At least what I'm trying to provide, Ari, in this show is to give the people their power back.
Yep.
And to know that you have choices.
Yep.
For those that want to be comfortable and want to be left alone and don't want to be bothered and don't want to be prayed for, well, no problem. Bless you on your journey. Mwah, love you, mean it. Bye-bye now. But for those that are truly affected and have been struggling with energy imbalances, the inability to focus, mood swings, depression, irritability, anger, confusion, all of this stuff, that's what our products are for.
Yep.
That Crystal Ascension water, man, you want to get clarity, drink some liquid light.
Yep. Totally.
Really, I really mean it. And we all need to. This is what my mentor said to me, my little Miss Rebecca Ann that I love with my whole heart. She says, I'm addicted to clarity.
Wow, yeah, there you go. Me too. And is that what you're drinking right now? Some of that?
Yes,
There you go. That's why you're so clear.
Yes, I am
crystal clear, right? Exactly.
Yes, and I was born with clarity, I will tell you. I also want to, because I want to make sure I get this in before our time, you can go to opalinesolutions.com and you can order the Opaline product, the Detox Bath, or the dry oxy capsules, either on that website, or you can also order it through me here at Sacred Space. Now, I did kind of run into a little bit of a hiccup per our last show, so I do want to give some clarity out there that will help other people as well as help us. On my website, which is sacredspacedurango.com, the products are on there, but the Opaline isn't. It has a link to Opaline.
Okay.
But I do sell that right here from my store. So what I want to do is for those people that are interested in medicine shield necklaces or the crystals that I have for sale that will also help in your environment, in your home, and you, or if you want to order oxygen through me or one of the formulas that's not on the website, just email us through my website rather than going on the PayPal, because my PayPal is only set up for the herbs and water.
Gotcha.
And then what's happening is other people are wanting other things
products
that I offer. So rather than having to do 2 transactions, 2 whatevers, just go ahead and email me through my website. And we've been, thank God, I want to give a shout out to my personal assistant, Savannah Jade. Thank God she was born, or I would have to just, I don't know, I need a Nimba 5000 now. I mean, holy moly. I'm telling you the response, and I do want to take a minute and say my love to you and to all of your listeners and to the people that have responded. It has been a beautiful experience. Savannah and I are working literally morning, noon, and night to make sure that we are addressing all of the emails and orders and getting them right out. And so back to the oxygen, you can go either to opalinesolutions.com or you can go through sacredspacedurango.com and order it, okay?
Fantastic.
So I wanted to get that information out there for the listeners.
Yes, and we're going to be obviously putting up a group for you so that you can go ahead and do workshops, just like some of our other radio show guests are doing now, because there's certain guests that provide tools for empowerment, and you are one of those. The information you bring is extremely, extremely important today, and people need to have these tools, and therefore we're creating a group within shatteringthematrix.com called Crystal Ascension, which is your group, darling, where you're going to be leading that. And then people can sign up to your workshops, which are going to be via teleconference, type of calls or webinars, where you can teach people exactly what they need to do to get healthy, to be able to prepare that body temple, to become a crystalline body, as well as raise that vibration, right? So that's what you bring, yeah. So a lot of folks, if you're interested in doing that, just subscribe to shatteringthematrix.com. The subscription is $6.99 a month. That entitles you to go into the groups that are led by the guests that have these tools that are in connection directly with Source or high councils, and their part of their mission is to spread that type of information for our empowerment so that we can walk out of this 3D density. And I also wanted to mention too, Crystal, if you want to, we're going to be having, just so you know, Shattering the Matrix will have Marco Missinato, which is the composer for the Unfolding Secrets Symphony, and part of that is because his mission is to raise the vibration of humanity via amazing music, via high resonance frequency type music. How important is high vibrational music in this whole process?
Oh my goodness sakes, girlfriend. It is critically important, and more so now than ever, Ari. Many people don't know that all of us represent a musical note. Excuse me. We are all a musical note, Ari. And I can tell you that we are like instruments that are out of tune, okay?
Yes.
No different than a piano that's out of tune, a guitar that's out of tune, a keyboard or whatever. And so I already know that Marco's music is, it's why he was born. It's his contract. It's his gift, is to come in and help to raise the cellular vibration. And as we are under, all of that's being rearranged by the high councils, our DNA is being booted up and all of that. And so his music is really what will, it's that resonate to the cellular, and especially the new frequencies that the high councils are adding in. So this is very important because it will raise our vibration so that we all literally vibrate and sing, if you will, through our vibration, the universal song of unity and peace. So I can't wait. I actually want to start, he doesn't know this yet, nor do you, but I would like to start, selling those CDs in my store.
Oh, wow.
Because that's how important I know that his work and his music is, and it will start bringing, hopefully, that unification, that unity. We've got to get unified, folks. I'm really not kidding, and using that great discernment on what's distorted, fraudulent information and what is true.
Yeah.
And in seeking ascension, the power of love must become the fervent heat which will cause the elements of mortal creation to melt, and which will propel the candidates for ascension into the great cosmic pool of immortal love and light. So we're literally, as I said in my show, we're going from mortality to immortality. That's the process. And again, I said something very, very, very important in my first show, and the council wants me to say it again, because we are never taught this in our human anatomy classes, okay? But at the end of every nerve ending in the human body is a crystalline fiber, okay? And some of us have more than one fiber per ending, okay? So that's where we're going into the crystalline light body, meaning that fiber is already there, okay? His music is also going to resonate to those little crystalline fibers at the end of your nerve endings.
Wow.
You see? So do you see what's happening? Here you have the person here's the protocol of how we clean out the density. So, my work is preparing us for his work.
Sure.
Do you see that?
Yep.
So that all that density is cleared out, so when people start listening to the sound music, it really raises that person's vibrational octave. And with that being said, interesting, all the nanotechnology that's out there that's interfering in this process, those are your synthetic crystals. You see?
Good point.
Does everybody catch the connection there?
Good point. Good point.
So the one good thing about, this stuff is we're working with Mother Earth, what she naturally intended. But yes, I love him. I'm really excited for him.
So what happens when we're all resonating together? We're all vibrating with that same frequency. We kind of talked about it a little bit. Bliss. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's something. I mean, does it connect with the crystalline structure of the Earth? Does it change does it help transform the most of people? I mean, what is it? I mean, we kind of talked a little bit about it yesterday.
Yes, it is transformational. It's very transformational. It raises your vibration. You start vibrating into higher vibrational frequencies, which allow you to access and connect to higher vibrational frequencies that are there for the love and the light of all that is of one. So, you know, prosperity, abundance, joy, happiness, whole, wellness, all that comes. And, you know, what will happen is once we all start vibrating, it will create an arc of light, Ari, an arc of light that has never, ever been experienced in human existence. I promise you.
Wow.
So then that is also, you know, the whole process is the merging of the negative polarity and the positive polarity merging into one, becoming translucent and transcending. It's you know, everything's important to raising the vibration. You know, everything that we're talking about, including sound and music. And I highly recommend, you know, people start listening to sound healing musics, especially ones that will address the alpha and the theta components of the brain. Start listening to that every night before you go to bed. I've been doing it for several months now. I'll tell you who's got a wonderful CD is Stephen Halpern.
Oh, Halpern, sure.
Yeah, Halpern, and I listen to his theta one at night, and then the alpha one, you know, during the day while I'm working. So that it's just phenomenal. You know, a little of this and a little of that and a little of this, and you know, we got this. But man, we got to get moving, folks.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's
the essence.
Definitely crunch time at this point. All right.
Yes.
So, and just as we're closing now, we can't leave the crystals out, because this is a very important part, okay, of the whole process. So, what do you recommend people do with crystals, and why?
Okay. So, oh boy, why? Well, crystals, I prefer to wear mine. I wear the Mystic Warrior. That's my spiritual guru, Rebecca. I love her pieces. Every one is a one-of-a-kind piece. I am never, ever, ever without one. Never, ever will be without one. And if I die, I am to be buried with one. Okay? And the family knows that. Wow. So they have the ability to go in and balance, to heal, to energize, to vibrate, to release. I mean, they do so many things. They're generators and transmitters and receivers and manifestors, and they can protect you. We can tell you the stories that we've gathered of how profound protection that these have given to people. And I happen to have a born natural knack and ability. I can match anybody with their appropriate medicine shield. I don't even have to see the person in most cases. However, because there is so much chaotic nodes in the ethers right now, I have been asking people to email me their picture so that I can make sure that I am being very responsible. You know, the powers that think they be are getting crafty in their hijacking abilities, but nonetheless, so the crystals, like for instance, amethyst, you know, it balances the body, the mind, the spirit. It's an environmental harmonizer. It's phenomenal for addictions. It is the stone of spiritual awakening, spiritual connection. So each stone has a healing property that will assist you. I have gone ahead and ordered some books that, because I know that after this show airs, it's going to be like an avalanche. Okay, so then I will be able to help people rather than me spending so much time talking about how they work and why they work. People will be able to get that information from books that I will have here in the store. But they are important. They're the children of Mother Earth. We're going to the crystalline dimension, folks. We know the power of crystals. The ETs use crystals. Lemuria was a civilization of all crystals. You've got Atlantis, and what sunk those civilizations was the misuse of the power of those crystals.
Right.
You know, you've got the nerve endings in your body that are crystalline. I mean, it's all about, you know, crystal.
Yep.
It's an intelligence.
Yep. So repeat again, because the last show was really interesting. You said something that resonated with me and caught my attention. which was that it takes like 5 to 10 minutes with a crystal, what it would take you years. 10 to 15 years. Okay, go ahead and explain that.
You know, believe me, because remember that little fiber is so important. Stay focused on that crystalline fiber, folks, at the end of every nerve ending in your body. Okay, so that fiber is what is actually the conduit to the crystal. Many people do not know that. Okay, so a lot of people wrap crystals in wires, perceiving that, okay, that's the conduit to the crystal. Well, no, the nerve ending, the crystalline fiber at your nerve ending is the conduit to the crystal. So in many cases, when you take the metal out of the picture, it allows the crystal to have free will into your auric energy field and put anything that's out of balance back into balance, because the mineral kingdom is the number one kingdom. Mm-hmm. The second kingdom is the plant kingdom, and the third kingdom is the animal kingdom. Okay? Yep. Is the animal kingdom. So those three are kingdoms. We as a humanity, we're not a kingdom yet because we're not unified. Hopefully we're working on that and we'll get there. But you know, they have healing properties. Yep. If you stop and think, folks, get out of your heads, get out of that freaking 3D matrix and really attune yourself to nature and stop and think about the planet as a whole, Ari. Stop and think about the sapphires and rubies and diamonds and citrines and amethysts and smoky quartz and azurites. I mean, there's hundreds of thousands of millions of minerals and beautiful stones and gems and crystals on this planet. Yep. So we're here to experience that. When we go to the new Earth, it's all crystalline, meaning that the grid is crystalline. Right. It's the crystalline matrix. So, you know, each stone carries a different property and a different vibrational frequency. So that's why, you know, as a crystallogist, I was born with the name crystal, for crying out loud, and I brought in very, very, very ancient information and wisdom around the truth about crystals. Not New Age, ancient. So laying on of stones, you know, even in the Bible they talk about the breast, the high priests that wore stones on their breastplates, right, for protection. Right. So, you know, they're for protection. There's for you know, healing, balancing, clearing. Yeah, there's even ones for happiness. I mean, it's just... So basically it accelerates whatever type of work you're trying to do on yourself. It accelerates it where you can spend 5 to 10 minutes with a crystal what it would normally take you 10 to 15 years to accomplish. Yeah. Wow. I can't even begin to tell you the healings that I have been very honored and very blessed to be a part of, working specifically through Infinite Creator and the Christ consciousness, as well as with crystals. And I mean some serious stuff like gangrene. My best friend at the time, her dad was he was 5 days away from getting both legs amputated. Oh my gosh. From diabetes. And I mean, he had gangrene in both legs. And he was a very, very skeptical, very non-spiritual guy. And he called me up, and he had tears in his eyes, and he said, Crystal, I don't know what you do. I know that you do some whatever stuff. And he goes, but they were going to cut my legs off. And he said, will you come throw some rocks at me? And so I got my metaphysical bag all loaded up and everything, and off I went, Ari. And I'm telling you what, to this day, it was probably one of the most grotesque healings I'd ever done, but I stayed with it, Sister Boo. And I did it, and he drove himself to the hospital to cancel his amputation appointment. And I also used Mother Earth. You know, it was a whole It depends because it all gets channeled to me,
Yeah.
so I don't go in going, okay, this is what I'm going to do, blah, blah, blah. I just know what tools to bring, and then it gets channeled to me from the higher ups. But also water on the brain. My son's half-brother, my little spirit, Jojo, he was born with water on the brain and had they were going to have to do cranial surgery on him. It was a really big deal, and I drove all the way to Nevada with a very special little wand I have, and I pulled his binky out of his mouth. I got his mom and dad, which is actually his dad is my ex-husband. And I said, you guys need to go to dinner. Just let me have the baby. I'll take care of him. I promise you. I will promise you I will take care of this little sweet baby. So you just go to dinner and have a good time, you know. So I had little Joe in my hands, and I watched him get in the car and drive off. And, man, I pulled that binky out of that kid's mouth, and I plugged in my power rod, and he just sucked on my power rod, and I did my thing. Of course, that wasn't the whole protocol. And I kid you not, Ari, they were astounded. I mean, he healed the hole in his brain.
Oh, my God.
I have another client, very dear friend of mine, who was facing a heart transplant. And, I mean, this was phenomenal story. He had all these heart conditions, and I had done a laying on a stones session with him and prayer and healing and did my thing. And he he'd only had one session, but he had called me and said, Crystal, they'd had a heart for him, Ari. His heart was all ready to go up there in Denver, and so he wanted me to do a second session on him, and we'd been doing stuff in between. Did the second session, laying on stones, and next thing you know, I went to the doctor, Four Corners Heart, right here in Durango, and they did the echogram and all this other stuff, and the tests were different. So what happened was he didn't need the heart. Even the heart was waiting. We were supposed to be getting in the car and leaving after he did this last little test here at the heart place and take those and go to Denver to get the new heart. And they thought that it was a different patient. They thought that his medical records were screwed up. Something must be wrong. The heart's there. We knew that he needed a heart transplant. Cut a long story short, he ended up with a pacemaker, and he's living happily ever after. That's just three hundreds of stories I can tell you.
Wow. I mean, that's enough to convince me if I didn't believe in any of this, you know. And wow, incredible testimonial to the power of crystals and the power of intention, too. Amazing.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And let me tell you something, folks. It's not just, go grab a crystal and slap it on a person. You know, I want people to know that I've spent my whole life, Ari, dedicated, and I mean this, with a pure heart in my whole heart. I have worked to do everything I can to fulfill my contract to Spirit, to Infinite Creator, to Mother Earth. It means everything to me. And I know that there's people out there that aren't going to resonate to my truth, and that's okay, and that's okay. And if you don't resonate to me, bless you on your journey. You know, we'll see you at another time. But I know what I know, and I know the importance of this work, and I have been standing in my power to be able to do this work for a long time. It truly does mean everything to me. I care deeply about the well-being of humanity and my brothers and sisters. And I'm also by nature, a very protective being, you know, and that's kind of where my no-nonsense comes in too. But I was also born, Ari, with that authority of the will of Creator. It's actually in my natal chart. It's blown a lot of astrologers away. I mean, like, they're like, oh my God, you really have like the authority of Creator in your natal charts. And I am very well aware of that. And they say that with great humility and passion, but it takes a lot of discipline, Ari.
Sure.
A lot of discipline to be able to do the kind of work that I do. Absolutely. You know, I'm not here to have a popularity contest. I'm not here for the drama. I'm not here for the egotistical whatevers. I'm here to shine my light and do my work and to assist humanity through the greatest transition ever known to the human existence. And my job is to get people through that veil and through that eye of the needle and into fifth dimension, and then I'm going on to my crystal collective dimension.
Awesome. You know? I hope I can see you there, and we stay connected.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. That would be cool.
I would have to go back and check and make sure all my wonderful ones are, fifth dimension is going to be a wonderful thing. But this is the real deal, folks. I'm really not kidding out there, and I can't emphasize enough to everybody out there that's with open ears and an open heart, and those are the only ones I want to interact with. I don't have time for nonsense. I don't put up with nonsense. I don't sugarcoat. I don't tell you what you want to hear. I don't tell you what you think you're supposed to hear, and I don't sugarcoat my readings. I work directly with the will of infinite creator, and I am an ambassador to Sananda, which is one of many masters. It's not just all about Jesus Christ here. It's all about all the masters, and I'm just assigned and correlated and associated as an ambassador to Sananda. And I've met, I had a near-death experience in 1987, and I met Sananda. So I know that he is there and really exists. And of course, that was when I was 22 years old, and since then I've had many rites of passages and initiations, and sit at the table of many high councils.
Sure.
So I do want to reiterate, it is a responsibility.
Yep.
It's a responsibility to do this work,
mm-hmm.
And it takes a great deal of passion, and your show has really brought my passion. It's really brought a fire back that was kind of fading away for a little bit because it just was,
Yeah.
A lot of people, and again, it's, our environment and what we are experiencing and what they're throwing at us has a lot to do with that. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I am so grateful to you for who you are, for your strength, for your wisdom, for your tenacity, for your connection, and for your discipline. Because you're very disciplined, and now that you're coming forth and connecting with everyone via this radio show, and hopefully through the workshops that people will be able to now have an interactive experience with you, where they can listen to you, and then if they want to ask questions, they can, and all that. That is just going to bring everything to a whole different level, and that's the purpose for the website that goes in conjunction with these radio shows, called ShatteringTheMatrix.com. And I'm very, very honored that you're going to be one of those teachers / leaders / guests that are going to be helping people walk through that eye of the needle, because you have so many tools to provide people that how can you not be part of that teaching website that we've created. So Crystal, thank you so much. We've come to the end of our show this time around. Of course, you're going to be on many, 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 many other times, I know. And I am so grateful again for the time that you've spent with us. Again, folks, don't forget to visit Sacred Space Durango.com. Crystal has so many wonderful things there as tools that will help us get better, that will help us raise our vibration, and just even interacting with her is just a blessing. And then also you can visit, of course, 2012emergence.com, which is another site that I run, which is for the family of light to get together, and it's a no-nonsense website that talks about everything that we just talked about, because it's not all about love and light, light and love, which is a wonderful thing, but unfortunately we are in this plane of existence which encompasses the polarities, and we're in it, and so our responsibility is not to look the other way, but to look it straight in the eye and have the courage and the strength to face these things and to transform them. And then, please, subscribe to ShatteringTheMatrix.com. It's $6.99 a month to be able to participate in all the different groups led by all these wonderful guests and teachers, which will provide you with more tools to empower you. And next show, I'm anticipating Marco Missinato. We also have Lynn Strauss coming up. So please, keep in tune with all the shows that we have. Thank you so much for joining us again, Crystal. I'm so grateful. And thank you all for participating and listening to our show. It's been an honor and a true pleasure to be able to be with you again. This is Ari Kopel for Shattering the Matrix. Love you all very much, and good night.
I love you all. I love you all. Hydrate and vibrate, folks.
Amen. God bless. Bye-bye.
Love night.
Bye-bye.